Hey loves, welcome back to my channel. Today guys, I'll be checking out this interesting video from Charlie Kirk, and it's titled Anti-Capitalist Suggests Inflation Isn't Real. You guys, I'm excited for this. If you're yet to subscribe to this channel, please consider subscribing. Give this video a massive thumbs up, comment, share, and all that good stuff. And without much ado, let's see what Charlie Kirk has for us in this video.
How do you feel about like the current state of the economy and this whole theory of like immaculate disinflation? If you're familiar with the term,
Say that again.
immaculate disinflation.
Well, we're not living through that.
Okay,
but
yeah.
yes.
And where's your proof that we aren't exactly?
Are you talking disinflation?
Yes.
That we actually we're not seeing a surge in prices?
No, disinflation means the inflation rate is decreasing over time.
Well, so there is some evidence to show that, for example, televisions, iPhones.
Specific products. That's not an illustration of all of inflation, though.
No, I was going to agree with you that.
Okay.
But if you just go to a grocery store, eggs are far more expensive than they were 2 years ago. You don't have to overthink it. I mean, the college degree here at this university, what is it per year, guys?
30,000.
How much?
30,000. That's without.
They've been
10 in state, 30,000 out of state. Yeah, 10 years ago, I bet it was 18,000 out of state, right? So
yes, but they've been trying to raise the Cal State tuition for quite some time, even before inflation spiked to its current levels or previous levels about a year ago. They've just been delaying it for quite some time. So
yeah,
it's not exactly.
We're living through a decades-long inflation surge, and the best evidence you could see it either in the artificial boosting of profit-to-earning ratios. Go ahead.
Even during like Trump's administration, inflation was actually quite low. So that's not
No, it was low then, but
true.
it's not low right now.
Yes, but why was it low then? Would you say?
Well, because we had economic growth, and we weren't borrowing $2 to $3 trillion a year.
We actually were. We were borrowing quite a bit of money.
We were borrowing about $1 trillion a year.
Still quite a bit.
So we're borrowing about triple that right now.
Yes.
Do you agree?
Yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
got it.
I mean, I think that's how the math works
so
out.
triple in the law of big numbers is a big deal. So borrowing $800 billion, not excusable. Borrowing $2.5 trillion, morally reprehensible.
Morally, why exactly morally is there a distinction between 1 and 3 trillion? Very arbitrary.
Because everyone here is going to have to pay off that debt, and that dollar that you think is going to have value is decreasing by the day. Whether you're pro-choice or Democrat.
But inflation is something that's going to occur no matter what. Sorry.
Can I finish? Okay.
I apologize.
It's okay. Inflation is not a guaranteed human norm. That's not true, but I'll get to that in a second. Every single person here, it will be harder than ever for you to own a home. So inflation is immoral because you're going to enter into a housing market where everything costs 3 times as much in the housing market than it did a decade ago.
That's true.
You will not be able to afford a down payment, let alone even be able to build the capital necessary for other goods and services that you might want to build wealth. And you know who does benefit is your parents' generation and baby boomers, no offense, that do own their assets and you won't. And so, secondly, inflation is a choice. It's not built into the human experience.
The human experience, sure, but the economic system, especially a capitalist economic system, it definitely is. How would you try to achieve 0% inflation?
0% inflation?
Yeah.
Well, I wouldn't want 0% inflation.
So then it is built in.
Inflation...
And it is necessary evil.
No, I said I wouldn't want it. Okay. Moderate inflation is good for money velocity and for growth.
Yes.
But you need to manage that versus the growth rate, right? So this goes back to Milton Friedman's idea of the Chicago monetarism. You can laugh all you want.
Friedman? Yeah, all right. Okay.
What's so funny about Milton Friedman? The fact he's the greatest economist of the 20th century? Or
Qualify. That's I don't know. I wouldn't say he's exactly that.
So you're more like a John Maynard Keynes guy? So yeah.
Not necessarily,
Okay,
no. I just take a more broad approach than
so
specifically
we
Milton
don't
Friedman.
need to have a central bank. We do have a central bank.
Okay, bold claim. I'll follow you, though.
You don't need to have a central bank.
I used to be very against the Federal Reserve as well.
Okay, I'm just saying you don't need to have one, but we choose to have one. The central bank has been overly politicized to try to stop, let's just say, natural economic cycles from occurring. Both administrations, Bush, Obama, Trump, Biden, have leaned on the central bank to use cheap money as a way to try to keep the good times flowing and the good times going.
Yeah.
Okay,
That's definitely for sure.
So we don't agree. Well, we don't disagree.
Yeah, but here's the other thing I would say.
We can't hear you.
I gotta say, your protesters are kind of weak here, guys. I expected more out of them, right?
They didn't seem to have the energy to get
I
all
know.
the
I
front.
thought they'd have more, Yeah, I like it. Please keep going, yeah.
I will say, though, going back to the mortgage rates, as you were saying, I would say that probably has a lot more to do with private equity buying up homes than the inflation rate.
Well, hold on. There's 2 parts to that. I'm not talking just about mortgage. Interest rates are up. I'm talking about just the asset price itself.
That too. I would say it's a lot more related to private equity buying up homes.
But why is private equity doing that? Because they have so much cheap money that we've put into the system. They don't have to do with it. Now, I think we could agree, actually, there should be laws against BlackRock coming in and buying single-family homes and renting them back. You should not be a society of renters. It's bad for society.
Yes.
So we can agree on that. I say that as a conservative. It's bad for the human experience and for generational flourishing. But when you open up the guzzle of cheap money, which we have done, especially post-COVID, there's a price to that. And the price is that your currency gets weaker.
Yeah.
Okay. And we're seeing that right now.
Yes.
Why, you guys? I love this debate so much, and Charlie Kirk is very good at explaining things to students, and listening to him educate the student on what they don't know is such an eye-opener, because there are a lot of things I don't even know about the American economy and why there is so much inflation these days that Charlie Kirk has been able to make easy for me to understand. Let me know what you guys think about this video in the comment section down below. I'm really enjoying every minute of this debate, and I believe you guys are also having fun with this particular one. And let's continue watching, you guys.
So would you say that it was actually necessary in order to get out of the huge recession we experienced during the pandemic
No, I think we should have just opened up the economy. We never should have locked down the country.
Okay.
So we never should have borrowed the $6 trillion. We never should have done the stimulus stuff. It hurt every single one of you. It increased suicide rates, depression, anxiety, fiscal problems, economic problems, political problems.
I could definitely agree with that to some extent. But would you say even in, say, 2009, lowering the interest rates to zero in that sense, was that
Well, we didn't
necessary?
go to zero. We didn't. We went down, believe it or not. We went to like 5%. COVID, we went to like near zero.
Yes.
But no, I have a contrarian view on 2008. I think we should have let the banks fail.
Ooh, okay.
And I think we should have. I think we actually should have allowed the market to solve it, not to have socialism for the rich and
you know what?
brutal capitaliscal for the working class.
I totally agree with that.
Okay, so
totally agree with that.
I think that Wells Fargo, Goldman, I think that Lehman and the big banks that failed should have had to actually climb themselves out, or you destroyed a moral hazard is what you did, and zero executives went to prison. I agree with Elizabeth Warren on this. None of these robber barons that did what they did in 08 served federal prison time. Meanwhile, and I will use a political statement to contrast it, grandmas that went into the Capitol on January 6th and took selfie videos are in federal prison. You ask me who's a bigger threat to democracy? Wall Street executives that bankrupted our economy in 2008 are a bigger threat to our country than people that walked into the Capitol building and took a selfie.
Now, let me ask you this. I don't know if my memory served me correctly, but who was... did Steve Mnuchin serve under the Trump administration?
Yeah, he was from Government Sachs.
Did he serve under the Trump administration?
That's right, yeah.
So why would Trump invite someone like that who should probably be in federal prison into his administration?
I have a lot of personnel disagreements. I love Trump, but I think...
You love Trump?
Love Trump.
Why would you love... So,
do we love Trump, everybody?
So, to ask a broader question, why would you love any politician? They have a job to do. Why be emotionally attached in that sense?
And I don't say this like lightly. I do have a friendship with him. I've gotten to know him over a couple of years. So, and
disclosing bias.
100% biased. And so I also think whether you hate him or love him, he's a once in 100 year.
But why would you hate him or love him? He just has a job to do.
Well, I also love what he did as country. As president for the country. So,
would you say though that you're probably more of a fiscal conservative?
Me?
Yeah.
Yeah, and probably his borrowing was one of the two. So 3 things, if you want to just be full disclosure, that I think President Trump could have done better, and I think he will do better. Fiscal deficit spending. Okay.
Why do you think he will do better?
Let me get to all 3. Okay. COVID and certain personnel choices. Okay.
Okay.
Those are the 3 things, and I could list 100 accomplishments. Those are 3 things I think that the first administration, that wasn't their best.
Yeah.
Why it could have been better? I think that he's got the world against him, and if he becomes president again, which the 50-50 shot he will, he's going to set the world on fire.
I would say he's a little bit too egotistical and emotional to really counter the world being against him. He seems to react a little too emotionally to these kinds of things.
I don't want to get too deep into it, but you're not gonna convince me on negative Trump stuff. So
okay, interesting. So your mind isn't necessarily that open. Isn't this change my mind?
You could try.
Okay.
I mean, you're not going to...
But didn't you just say kind of up front that...
I'm open-minded to hear it. I'm just saying you're not going to change my mind on that stuff.
Okay, so then what is it that's leading you to think that Trump is going to have better decision-making in this next term, specifically when it comes to borrowing? Because he is going to
necessity. I mean, I don't know, and honestly, there's little evidence except the fact that
little intuition.
We're going to have a debt crisis, the likes of which the country's never seen, and he's going to have to address it. We need to have severe cuts in the federal budget. We need
Okay.
to push
So would you say that the downgrading of America's credit rating is more related to our national debt or the inability to handle it in a mature way?
more both, but more just the debt itself is.
Okay.
I mean, we now owe more than we're worth as a country. So I want to get to other questions because you've had some time. But final question, I want to be respectful. But
so I guess. How would, if you think that that's an issue that we have more debt than say our current income?
Well, we do.
Well, yeah, but if you would
just
say
the value of the country.
Of course, we control our own currency, and our currency is
Are you a modern
number one
monetary
reserve
theory guy? So
Okay,
so.
it's the number one reserve, so that gives us a lot of wiggle room.
It's decreasing. It used to be 75% of the world's reserve currency status 20 years ago. Now it's 55%.
I would say
you know about BRICS. You know BRICS, right? BRICS,
yeah, I do.
BRICS is creating an alternative.
I think they're a paper
dollar.
tiger.
Okay, I actually hope you're right.
I don't believe that India, China, South Africa, and Russia could ever work together to create their own unified currency.
I just hope we're not too prideful.
Definitely a paper tiger.
Thank you.
Wow, you guys, that was such an interesting one from Charlie Kirk. I really love this debate so much because Charlie Kirk and the student agreed on so many points during the course of this debate. It was very respectful and I really enjoyed every minute of it. If you guys enjoyed watching, give this video a massive thumbs up, comment, share, and all that good stuff. And I'll see you all in my next video. Bye, guys.